Welcome back and thanks for your patience. So before we get started with the salary sheet, I want to show you some of the updates that we've made to the system. So what you'll notice here is that there's a tab that says pre-August 2013. Now what that captures is all of the records created prior to August 2013. The reason being that the format of the software has changed significantly to make it sort of more functional and more in line with what you need as a business owner. So for all records created prior to August 2013, you can click on that tab to find them here. If you're just creating an account and would like to enter records or data prior to that period, you would also click here. So within that tab, you can create, edit, or delete records as you can with the post-August 2013 portion, which is this main dashboard here. This tab is available within all of the statements, so you can go back and access all of your old records. So in the event that you would like to create a new record, you would click on Create New. It would prompt you to select the appropriate month, and then you would go ahead and create the record. But for the purposes of our example, we've already created one. So let's go ahead and enter that document. So again, you can still download or print. You can edit, that's how you enter the document, or you can choose to delete it. Here is the basic information on the document, which month it's for, whether or not it's in use. This is particularly useful if you have a number of different users within your company account to see who is currently in the document. It also tells you when it was last modified, who it was modified by, and of course when it was created. So let's go into the document and have a look. And what you'll notice is that you have a lot of the same functionality. So for example, you can delete, you can put last name, first name, base salary, back pay due. So let's say, for example, you owe somebody money from a previous pay period. It lets you know what the reimbursement is. Let's say somebody took a taxi for work purposes and you need to give them the money back. And then it calculates the gross income. You'll notice that at the end of the columns or the bottom of the columns, you can then go ahead and view all of these totals. Now, as with the previous version, you can still save and then close out of the document. You can add additional rows if you feel that that's necessary. And one really important thing is being able to categorize the different workers in your business. So sometimes you have temporary workers. Let's say during the Christmas period, you need more staff on hand to get work done. You have workers who are on probation. A lot of the time when you start out working for a company, they put you on probation for a few months before you become a full-time worker and have access to all of the benefits. And then you have full-time. Anytime somebody is selected as full-time, it means that in a subsequent month, so let's say when we get to September and we create a salary sheet for September, their name will automatically be pulled into the September sheet, so you don't have to re-enter it since they're a permanent part of your workforce. So let's go ahead and close out of that document. Now what you'll notice is that it's prompting us to save our changes. In our case, it's okay for us to just continue because we didn't make any changes, but at any given time, remember to save before you close out of the document so you don't lose the work that you have done. So the next statement I want to go on to is the cash book. So what I'm doing right now is focusing on the statements that require you to enter a large amount of data. The remaining statements are by and large automated. So again, you can create new, you can access archive data, but what we're going to do right now is go into an existing sheet to do some work on it. So you'll notice that you have sales and revenue here, and below you have your costs and expenses. Now the way in which this differs from the prior or the previous version is that originally had just sales and revenue or sales and revenue as one separate document and then expenses as another one. What we have done here, however, is combined it so that it's more in line with accounting standards. So as you'll notice, we have the same delete, the subcategory button where you would go ahead and enter the name of something, and then following that you would then go ahead and click the sub button. What that would allow you to do is categorize certain kinds of expenses. So let's say I bought phone credit. I can type credit in here, then click sub, and within the subcategory sheet I can detail whether I bought MTN or Vodafone or Tigo, whichever one it was that I purchased. Once I enter all of that data and I enter the relevant quantities and unit price and all of these other fields, I can then go ahead and save and close out, and that will just bring me back to this main document. And you can do the same for your costs and expenses. So going over each of the columns here, you have your unit price, that is the price of one unit of whatever it is that you sold, the quantity sold, and then your total revenue is automatically calculated. Now here, an important part is being able to indicate whether or not things have been paid in full, in which case there's no need for you to enter the amount paid or for the balance due to be calculated, or a partial payment, in which case the cell is unfrozen. So let's say I decide to change this number to 2,000, and what I'll notice is that the balance due is calculated for me. I then have the opportunity to select my client name. So within client names, again, this helps us to track that graph that we had on the dashboard where you track your top vendors and customers. You can select from an existing one, or you can go ahead and create a new one. So you would add the person's name and then click on Add Client, and it would save it for you. So you scroll down, and it's very similar for cost and expense. Similar principles. Here you would enter your vendor name. That is whoever your supplier is. So with everything that we've done, now we've separated out the save functionality for sales and revenue and cost. So let's save for sales and revenue. It's successfully saved. We don't need to save for cost though because we didn't do anything with it. So let's close out of our cash book now. Again, we get the reminder telling us to make sure that we've saved. So let's click OK and leave this document. So what we're going to approach next are the balance sheet, the cash flow, and the income statement. So bear with me for one moment and I'll be right back.